Hello, welcome to the session. Today we shall discuss the concept of teaching strategy, its characteristics, objectives, type of teaching strategy, namely autocratic and permissive teaching strategy and teaching approaches. It is observed that the scenario of classroom teaching learning is changed. Most of the tuition classes are converted into classrooms and the classrooms are converted into tuition halls. Now, the remote of the classroom is in the hands of the students. They can change teachers like any TV channels. Because of globalization, students are becoming more advanced in acquiring knowledge, and this is one of the challenges before today's teacher. Therefore, the teacher needs to know the different teaching strategies and teaching approaches. Before starting the discussion on teaching strategy, let us discuss the concept of strategy. The term strategy refers to a pattern of acts that serve to attain certain outcomes. The word strategy is related to army. According to Collins English Dictionary, strategy is the art of science of directing and controlling the movement and activities of the army. It is an art of planning a war. If our strategy is good, we can get victory over our enemies. In other words, strategy is the skillful planning of a working system by which its objectives can be achieved conveniently. The strategy is not static. It can be changed according to the changing situations. The word strategy is also used in teaching learning process. Now we shall discuss the term teaching strategy. The teaching strategy is the plan of presentation of lesson or period in the classroom. A strategy is a teaching device or techniques adopted by a teacher to teach a lesson. Teaching strategies are those procedures and methods by which objectives of teaching are realized. Strategy acts as a stimulus to learning. Now we shall discuss definitions given by different educationalists. Smith explained strategy as the term strategy refers to patterns of act that serve to attain certain outcomes and to guard against certain others. It is clear that the word strategy means the determination of some policy by planning before presenting the contents, with the help of which the teaching objectives are achieved. According to Waxman, the term teaching strategy refers to a set of teaching actions intended to attain desired outcomes. Planning and designing the best learning path for each student and keeping the students on the right learning path can be called teaching strategy. According to Medley, teaching strategy refers to set of decisions, rules developed by teachers to attain instructional goal. From these different definitions, teaching strategy is a carefully structured teaching plans to achieve learning objectives. It includes determination of instructional goal, careful organization and implementation of instructional process and systematic evaluation of instructional outcomes. The teaching strategy includes broad method of instruction such as lecture method, tutorial method, team teaching, etc. Based on the above different definition, let us discuss important characteristics of teaching strategies. The first characteristic of teaching strategy is always the goal-directed activities of the teacher. The second characteristic is teaching strategy is a generalized plan of presentation of a lesson or period in the classroom situation. The next characteristic is The main focus of teaching strategy is the creation of an appropriate learning situation to achieve the objectives of learning. Now, the fourth characteristic of teaching strategy is teaching strategy is a combination of different teaching methods. In any teaching activity, a teacher has to use several strategies within a teaching period to make his classroom lively and to make teaching more effective. Next characteristic is the strategies are always dynamic. These changes according to the demand of situation with consideration to the age, level, need, interest and abilities of students. Now, the sixth characteristic of teaching strategy is teaching strategy seeks to establish the relationship between teaching and learning in view of achieving the objectives of education. And the last characteristic of teaching strategy is the effectiveness of a teaching strategy is determined by the nature of learning situation and mastery of teaching skills. So, these are the important characteristics of teaching strategy. Now, we shall discuss the objectives of teaching strategy. Teaching strategy is a generalized plan of presentation of lesson or period in the classroom situation to achieve the objectives of learning. The general objective of teaching strategy is to establish the relationship between teaching and learning in view of achieving the goals of instruction. We can point out the specific objective of teaching strategy as to make learning easy, effective, efficient and impressive. Second specific objective, to create a conducive learning environment in class for achievement of instructional goals and objectives. Next objective of teaching strategy is to conduct teaching in a systematic and organized way and to establish the relationship between teaching and learning in view of achieving full cooperation of learner in the learning situation. These are the specific objectives of teaching strategy.